I plop down in front of the TV, I turn it on. Prince Harry's talking shit about me. I'm like, he's like, Joe Rogan's giving out dangerous vaccine misinformation.
I said Meghan Markle is, of course, a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job.
Prince Harry and Meghan, we don't give a f***. America don't give a f*** about you.
A lot of people care, dude.
We don't care about the royal family.
They got a Netflix
We never
show.
cared about nothing that had to do with y'all.
Damn, Harry and Meghan are losing their titles? That's the most embarrassing royal loss since William's hairline.
Come on, just shave it, Wills.
Okay, just shut up about the hair.
What hair? Oh, I'm sorry.
And I'm not even mad at Harry. Look, if I was him, I would have said the same shit. I get it. And if I met that dude, I'd love to have a drink with him.
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
When Joe Rogan stepped onto the Netflix stage for his new comedy special, he kicked off a global firestorm. His takedown of Meghan and Harry wasn't just another roast. It was a raw, unfiltered cultural verdict delivered on the world's biggest stage. To understand why his commentary was so brutal and effective, we need to look at three things: Rogan's own personal beef with Prince Harry, the massive wave of mockery from other A-list comedians that proves he's not alone, and the specific patterns in the couple's behavior that make them such an easy target. But Rogan didn't just stick to the usual jokes. In one shocking moment, he went into territory so dark and conspiratorial that it left even his guests speechless. It has to be seen to be believed, and we will get to it. But first, we have to start with the moment the feud became personal. It all started not on a Netflix stage, but in Joe Rogan's living room, when Prince Harry suddenly appeared on his TV. Rogan's first encounter with the prince's criticism happened while he was just sitting there in his underwear.
One time, I just woke up, I'm in my underwear, I plop down in front of the TV, I turn it on. The moment I turn it on, Prince Harry's talking shit about me. I'm like,
Rogan was genuinely shocked. He couldn't get over the bizarre reality of a member of the British royal family knowing his name and calling him out personally for giving out dangerous misinformation.
do you know how f***ing weird it is when a prince knows your name? He's like, Joe Rogan's giving out dangerous vaccine misinformation.
His first reaction to the accusation wasn't defensiveness. It was pure, self-deprecating comedy.
And my first thought was, did I? I might have.
But after the joke, Rogan delivered his sincere and now famous defense, arguing that the blame for people listening to him shouldn't be on him.
But here's my take on that, sincerely. If you're getting your vaccine advice from me, is that really my fault?
He then doubled down, giving his audience one simple piece of advice that completely dismantled Prince Harry's entire argument.
You know, the problem is, like, people say, well, people listen to you and they take your advice. Well, take this advice. Don't take my advice.
With that, Rogan framed the entire debate not as an issue of misinformation, but of personal responsibility. But his uniquely personal and unfiltered take on the Sussexes was just the tip of the iceberg, because it turned out Joe Rogan wasn't alone. Soon, the biggest names in the comedy establishment were also taking aim at the Sussexes, starting with the host of The Daily Show, Trevor Noah. He used his unique perspective to joke about the royal family's deepest anxieties.
And I know some people are disappointed by the name Archie, but there's one person who's super excited, the Queen. Yeah, because you know for the last 9 months, she's been like, please don't be Jamal, please don't be Jamal, please don't be Jamal.
He continued on this theme, comparing Meghan's experience to a famous horror movie about race.
Queen summoned everyone to a private meeting. Everyone attended except Meghan Markle. And I'll be honest, I don't blame Meghan for not going, because nothing good happens when white people invite you to the countryside. We've all seen Get Out. We know how this shit ends.
Rose, now! Now, the keys!
Oh, be careful, bro.
You know I can't give you the keys, right, babe?
Noah then broke down all the reasons the establishment was so against Meghan, ending with what he joked was the most unforgivable sin of all.
You've got to understand, Meghan was everything people didn't want in the royal family. She's black, she's from the middle class, she's a divorcee, and worst of all, she said the American version of The Office is way better.
But Noah's sharpest critique was aimed at Harry, portraying him as a fallen monarch desperately hustling to get his wife a voiceover job from the CEO of Disney.
Prince Harry really did that? At a movie premiere last year, he asked the CEO of Disney to hook his wife up with voiceovers.
Noah pointed out just how far the monarchy has fallen.
You gotta admit, the monarchy has fallen off, right? No, because back in the day, it used to be like, if you marry my daughter, I'll give you Burgundy.
He then perfectly imagined the cringe-worthy moment of Harry pitching his wife for a job.
And now it's like, my wife actually does a pretty good Timon. You should hear her.
Come on, baby, do the thing. Hakuna Matata, do the thing.
While Trevor Noah focused on the politics, other hosts like Conan O'Brien took a much more surreal approach. After the famous London Museum Madame Tussauds removed their wax figures, Conan did a whole segment imagining where they ended up.
Now, I was curious what they did with Harry and Meghan's wax figures, so I found the museum employee who's temporarily storing them.
He introduced a museum employee who had a very creepy and inappropriate attachment to the figures.
Oliver, you have generously offered to keep the wax figures of Harry and Meghan safe.
Yeah, that's correct. And if I may, I would just like to say that I'm definitely not using the wax figures for sex stuff.
The bit ended on a deeply uncomfortable punchline that left the audience laughing and cringing at the same time.
They are in a loving home, and I treat them better than the museum ever did. They didn't appreciate Meghan's soft hands or Harry's supple lips.
The late-night verdict was clear. Their entire public life was now fair game. But as we said at the start, Joe Rogan was about to cross a line into territory far darker than any of them dared, and we'll get to that in just a bit. First, though, we have to look at the world of unfiltered comedy. Outside the mainstream networks, podcasters and stand-up comics had no rules, starting with Andrew Schultz, who had a very blunt message for the couple.
Prince Harry and Meghan, we don't give a America don't give a about you.
A lot of people care, dude.
We don't care about the royal family.
They got a Netflix
We never
show.
cared about nothing that had to do with y'all.
His core argument was simple. Americans just don't care about them or their drama.
Keep your shows, keep your drama, keep all that nonsense. That's for you British people to fake care about. We do not give a we don't care.
He also attacked their perceived entitlement and spending habits in their new home of Montecito.
Like, they moved to Montecito, like this is the fancy part of Santa Barbara, right? And they were like renting out the restaurants and being like, it just needs to be just us when we go out to eat here. Y'all are broke. Y'all got no money.
While Schultz's anger was about their presence in America, other comedians like Tim Dillon focused their attacks squarely on Meghan's persona, delivering one of the most savage and controversial lines of all.
If you came up with the picture of an annoying, insufferable white woman, it would be Meghan Markle, even though she's not white.
And across the pond, British comedian Jimmy Carr delivered his own brutal one-liner, attacking her claims of being a feminist.
I said Meghan Markle is, of course, a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job.
Simon Brodkin then explained his traumatic experience while watching Harry and Meghan's Netflix documentary. He began by giving his own sarcastic summary of the entire series.
If you haven't seen the documentary, lucky you. Ginger Royal meets fit American actress. She then discovers that everything is so unfair. He then discovers that racism is actually a bad thing.
He was also baffled by the cringe-worthy language Harry used to describe his life in the documentary.
Harry starts describing this one date with Meghan as the night, let me quote you here, me and M pulled the pin on a fun grenade. I actually started rooting for Prince Andrew.
And like many others, he was disgusted by the spectacle of multimillionaires complaining about their own security.
They were complaining that to pay for their own security. They were not happy about that. Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things. After 6 episodes, I wanted to attack them.
Finally, Brodkin delivered the ultimate taboo takedown, voicing the one thought that many people were thinking about the foundation of their relationship.
I don't know how to break this stew, H. But if you weren't in the royal family, M wouldn't be with you.
This was the raw, angry, and unfiltered verdict from the podcast and stand-up world. But the attacks were about to move from the stage and into the fabric of pop culture itself, turning them into a permanent running joke. And when your private life becomes a recurring sketch on Saturday Night Live, you know you've officially entered the pop culture prison. The show's favorite target was Meghan's old acting career on the show Suits, which they constantly framed as unpopular.
My brother's fiancée, Miss Meghan Markle, is on the American program Suits.
Yes, Wednesdays, 8 p.m, USA Network.
The only difference between that show and this is people watch this one.
They even joked that the show was so boring, it could be used as a sleep aid.
Whenever the kids are being fussy and not going to bed, she puts on an episode of Suits and they're out. So, what are you doing? Ow! Stop it! Stop it!
But the mockery wasn't just on network TV. It had saturated the culture so much that online creators began parodying Meghan's new Netflix show with Love Meghan. In one episode, Mindy Kaling repeatedly called her Meghan Markle, prompting an awkward correction that she is a Sussex now.
My name is Meghan Sussex now. Call me Meghan Markle one more time, Mindy Kaling.
They also poked fun at her tendency to name-drop celebrities who may not be actual friends.
Mindy and I are such great friends, like besties. Like, I love her. Like, she doesn't know my name, but we're best friends.
And of course, they had to parody the even more bizarre moment from With Love Meghan, where she tried to pass off store-bought pretzels as her own by putting them in new bags with her own custom labels.
Take the snack out of one bag and then move them into another bag and then label this new bag, even though this bag already has a label on it.
Why does Meghan Markle make her own pretzel bags? They don't know why.
That's interesting. She takes it from one bag and puts it in another bag.
It's another bag.
And that confuses people.
But perhaps the most brutal stage of mockery is when you're turned into a cartoon caricature. For animated shows like Family Guy, the Sussexes became a simple shorthand for getting paid for doing nothing.
Sir, your millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
They also mocked the endless stream of random sponsored posts for products the couple has no real connection to, which to many just makes them look money hungry.
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post for Del Taco.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
And over in the UK, the legendary puppet show Spitting Image was even more direct, highlighting their complete hypocrisy about wanting privacy.
In California, we're just a regular couple living close to Oprah and far from the paparazzi. Woo. But not too far.
The show portrayed Harry as someone who only pretended to be free from Granny's rules.
The best thing is, no more following Granny's rules. Don't wear your pants on your head, Harry. Don't bath on the butler, Harry.
But his fantasy of freedom is quickly shut down by Meghan, who is shown to be the one really in charge.
If I want to play polo in my living room, who's gonna stop me?
Stop that.
Right away, Megs.
From SNL sketches to influencer parodies and cartoon puppets, they had officially become a permanent running gag. But this was all just the opening act for the final judgment. It's time to finally hear the explosive speculation we promised at the start, delivered by Joe Rogan.
Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time? There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s.
Wow. No, I haven't heard that one. No.
That is a staggering accusation to make, not in a tabloid that people can easily dismiss, but on the world's biggest podcast, a platform that feels more real to millions than any news network. Now, while we're not saying this is 100% true, the alleged photos of her on a yacht from her yacht days do exist and circulate widely online, supposedly showing her in the company of very powerful men. The mainstream media refuses to touch the story, and you have to ask yourself why. Is it simply for legal reasons, or is it because, as some speculate, the story implicates too many powerful figures in both Hollywood and London? This feeds directly into a belief held by many that to get to the top in Hollywood, you have to do some questionable things, and that Meghan Markle might be in the same boat. It's a dark counter-narrative to the fairy tale she presented, but it's one that would certainly explain her rapid rise from a B-list actress to a global figure seemingly overnight. This is the ultimate danger of losing public trust after interviews that were full of inconsistencies. It creates a vacuum, and that vacuum gets filled with the darkest possible theories from the corners of the internet. Ultimately, this kind of explosive speculation is only possible when a public narrative has so completely broken down that people will believe anything. And with that one comment, Joe Rogan had said the quiet part out loud. So, what's the final takeaway? Joe Rogan's commentary went far beyond just telling jokes. His final, explosive speculation was the final nail in the coffin for a narrative the public had already rejected. In the past, a celebrity could weather a storm with a good publicist and a friendly interview. But this is a powerful cautionary tale for the new media age. It proves that a curated image from traditional outlets is no match for the raw, authentic feeling power of the world's biggest podcast. When an audience feels your story is inauthentic, the most powerful voices will not only call you out, you cannot control the devastating and permanent fallout. The endless mockery from comedians like Chris Rock, Trevor Noah, Jimmy Carr, and Andrew Schultz, and even Joe Rogan's final, shocking accusation. These aren't the cause of their image problem. They are the symptom. The jokes and the laughter are the sound of an audience that no longer believes your story. But the dark, online speculation is what happens next. It's a digital wildfire. It's the sound of an audience that has become so fundamentally distrustful, they are now willing to believe almost anything about you, no matter how extreme or unsubstantiated. Which brings us to the final, unavoidable question. After being so thoroughly dismantled by the world's most popular comedians, and after having the darkest possible speculations about your past platformed by the biggest voice in media, is there any way back? How do you recover when the attacks move beyond simple mockery and into the realm of permanent, dark conspiracy theories that will now follow you forever online, attached to your name in every search result? Is recovery even possible? Or is this a completely new and brutal form of public exile? Let us know what you think in the comments down below.